AFTV Picks is giving away 5 PS5s. Not 1, not 2, but 5 PS5s. 5! All you got to do to enter is go onto AFTV Picks, answer the simple question, and one of these PS5s could be yours. You can enter by going online. You can even do it old school by sending it in by post. But make sure you get on it right now. We've got 5 of them to give away, so do it right now. You have to be over 18 to enter, but answer that simple question, and one of these 5 could be yours. So enter now. 5!
So that's where all the PS5s have gone. I've been trying to get one since Christmas, mate. Robbie's been just lapping them up.
He scooped them all in.
It's mad.
Did you not see me, bro? When they had them downstairs, I took a photo like a foot, bro. I hope they please my PS5s in the back. I was like, yeah, welcome to work. And they're not even mine, they're gone now. And that's where they were.
Listen, people, AFTV Picks, if you want a chance to win one of those, I'm entering, that's for sure. If you want a chance, there's a link in the description below. Make sure you guys hit that link and enter. Now on to the big one. Last game of the season.
The race for 7th.
Yeah, the Conference League, round the corner, 3 teams battling it out.
Yeah.
How are we feeling?
I mean, it's the last game of the season.
I think we're going to be there, aren't we?
Oh, well, we're going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, big up, big
That's
up.
exciting.
Yeah.
I genuinely can't wait to be back at the Emirates. I've really missed it, and actually, I just want to go see an Arsenal win, and que sera, sera, whatever, you know, whatever comes of it, comes of it. But I'm excited.
You might be in there celebrating a Conference League place.
I know.
Oh, my Lord.
I know. Well, I'm hoping to see Basuma's first sort of big performance, and I'm joking.
Brighton
Brighton fans are going to
fans.
come at me, they're going to come at me. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see some live football.
Yeah, it'll be a good day out. You're going to get the new top as well to go in the stadium? Or?
Well, I don't want to end my friendship with Turkish too quickly. Let's cement it a little bit more.
That's what I like to hear.
Till he feels like I'm irreplaceable,
like
and
that.
then I'll go get the away kit.
Literally, we win the game, James come running back to the studio with a new merch. Come on, Turkish, we
Like I
done
said,
it.
it'll be burning outside, mate. It'll be burning
With Cronky
outside.
#1 on the back.
Imagine.
Okay.
I might just quit this job now. Just get the mic off me, man. I'm out.
But anyway, Brighton, what's your thoughts, Turkish, on it? Last game of the
I don't know
season?
what to think, man. I don't know what to think, because a win could put us in a competition we don't want to be in, if I'm honest. And the reason I say that is because, listen, I'm all for European competitions, allowing more clubs to be able to enter and giving them a chance to make a bit more money and add a bit more revenue and a bit more of fan market share, however they see it. But as an Arsenal fan who has seen us compete, I'd say, in the Europa League for the last 4 years, to drop down yet another level to a competition that only gives us the chance to play Europa League at the end, miss me with that. Miss me with that. Even if we was to get into it, please, play the reserve team, not even the unders, play the reserve team.
I did hear that. You made a point the other day that I wasn't sure how I felt about this competition. I knew I didn't want Arsenal in it, but then I thought, okay, if we're in it, you know, is it a trophy we could win? Is there anything positive? You know me, I try to look at the positives. And I sort of kept saying, well, you know, okay, Champions League, Premier League, Europa League, FA Cup. All right, this is the Carabao Cups of Europe. You made such a great point. At least in the Carabao Cup, there's City, Chelsea, Liverpool, you know, everyone's in it. So actually to win it, while people like to look down on it, and I don't look down on any trophy, even the Community Shield, I'm like, we've got to win the FA Cup or the Premier League to be in it. So if someone says to me, you're going to win the Community Shield next year, that doesn't disappoint me, because I think, well, we must have won something good to be there. So even with that, I try and look at it as positively as possible, and I'm happy if we win it and all that. But with this, you're right, like, it looks like we might have Villarreal and Emery in it again. So we wouldn't even be favourites. I just look at it and I just think, what can you take from it? Okay, you win it. Who have you beaten to it? What have you? I think at the moment we'd be by far the biggest club in it if we got there. Just doesn't sit right with me. So no, I don't want it.
Do you think, Cecil, let me give you a picture of 12 months from now. Or let's say 11 and a half months from now.
All right.
We're 9th in the league.
Again?
We're in the semi-final of the Conference League. It will be a similar situation to last year with the FA Cup, where we didn't qualify for Europe in the Premier League, but the FA Cup was our avenue into Europe. Now, a lot of people like the FA Cup for just like it. That's me. I didn't enjoy that win because it got us into Europa League, but there's a lot of fans at that time that I remember saying, we need this to get into Europa League. Arteta kept on saying, we need to get into Europe in order to have the best summer we can possibly have. 2 years on, we might be facing a similar situation in the Conference League, because at the moment, I've seen us fans in the club go down and down in standards and expectations, and I wouldn't be surprised to be in that predicament in 12 months, Cecil.
I would be surprised, only in the sense of that having a manager still in the job and replicating what we've done, well, I mean, 2 seasons, this will be the 2nd season in a row, really. That would surprise me, that would hurt me.
Because the reason I'm worried is, look, Arteta's got next season, yeah?
Yeah.
And as usual, a manager will probably get 3-4 months. So by November, December, if things are not going well, then
They'll get a new...
more often than not, if you're a big club, you will let that manager go. Now I'm looking at that as if it's not going well in December, which I don't think it will go well with the current owners.
After a big spend in summer, you might have...
Well, that is very much needed, because it's very much air to me at the moment, you know, and big to them is different to us. I remember Wenger used to tell us about, we only want to go for world-class players, and then we've got players like Nasri and Heleb, who were not world-class, but they wasn't the worst either. It was just, you know, blinding us with words in a sense. I don't want that to happen again with this whole big spending.
I like Nasri in there.
I like Nasri, his decision to leave at the end, you know. It was justified when you look back now, but at the time it hurt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like painting a false picture of what's to come.
Yeah. It could happen again. It could happen again. It would, like I said, it would surprise me, but I won't be saying we need to win this, get back into Europa League. I'll still be having this, I think the message will still be strong of what you've been preaching from the get-go, get Kroenke out. I know we're going way back to that, but that's just what it is, because if we replicate what we've done in the past 2 seasons, I don't know what to feel as an Arsenal fan, and for the club, that'll be awful. I don't want to see anything like this season again, being an Arsenal fan. I really don't. We've been through a lot this season. Honestly, the losses, the losing streak, the runs we've been on has affected. And for me, like, I'm a positive guy. There was times when I was downstairs, like, smacking our head on the table, like, we have to analyse all this all week. And
the most animated we've been is since after we got knocked out by Villarreal. Almost like it was a weight off our shoulders. Like, there we go. Like. It cannot get worse than this.
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
And it's clicked, like, just how we feel when we do shows and stuff. And that sounds awful because we've been out of Europa League, but I can't go through that bad patch before then, because it's as a fan and everyone in general, I'm sure will be feeling it. If they felt it, it was awful time. So hopefully next season it's just going to be positive, and we're coming off the back of 4 games in the league winning. This could be the 5th from the last game of the season. Yeah, man, I just want to ride that into the start of pre-season.
Yeah,
let's look at the game and some statistics and whatnot.
We're playing Brighton, and there's something quite fascinating about Brighton as a football team. There's a kind of, well, I was going to say it's kind of a belief when people are analysing Brighton, but it's not just a belief, I think it's fact. They play really good football. They create a lot of chances, so they don't take them. I've watched Brighton quite a few times. I've just thought, oh my word, you know, Graham Potter must be tearing his hair out. Because they play better football than us. They create more chances. Well, do you know what, actually, I'll save that. Let's go into this first. So I know XG for everyone doesn't mean everything, and actually this table will kind of show you what I mean by that to a degree, but what XG does measure is the chances and quality of chances you're creating game by game and predict how many goals you should be scoring. In fairness, it's never miles away from kind of the reality of the situation at times. It is a flawed statistic sometimes.
Where are we?
Exactly. So this is the 10 highest XGs in the league. So the expected amount of goals scored by each team in the league this season, obviously Man City, their XG is the highest, and they have actually scored the most. As you can see on the left, they are top of the league. I've put their league position as well. Right. Liverpool should have scored a lot more than they have, but they're down in 4th. Sorry, well, they're 4th in the league, but they've created the 2nd. I mean, obviously it doesn't look at goals conceded either. But Brighton scraped that top 10. And by the way, this is just from Understat. Other people measure XG differently. Some people have Brighton as having one of the best XGs, like in the top 4 or 5. So it kind of depends what you read and what you look at. But I just think it's fascinating that they're 16th, but really they should have scored a lot more goals. And sometimes you just have to forget the XG and the stats and everything. You just got to watch the game, see they're incredibly unlucky with some of the chances they miss.
And they play very expansive football. I enjoy it. And when I look at that list, if it was Arsenal in there instead of Brighton, I would have thought that list is wrong. But looking at the list without Arsenal and Brighton being in there, I think it makes sense because of the way Potter approaches games. I think they're very confident attacking side. And if you look across that whole list there, I think they're probably the 10 most attractive sides to watch in the league.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. I wouldn't put Spurs in there, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised Spurs...
but that's the Kane and Son factor, because the first half of the season, they was on a mad one.
I'm quite surprised Chelsea are so high up as well, actually. They're actually...
Well, Werner's been on the end of a few one-on-ones and a few...
True. That's very true.
Do you know what, that's actually a really good point, the way you put it, in terms of the football they play and how attractive they are to watch. I want to compare some of Brighton's numbers to Arsenal this season. You've got Arteta and Potter there. Obviously, we're 9th, they're 16th. We could be 7th. They could be... I think they could jump a few places, to be fair. But look, they've had more shots on us this season. More shots. Brighton have had more shots than Arsenal. Shots on... It's just the Premier League, by the way. Shots on target. They're only 5 behind us. Yeah. So, okay, we're a little bit more efficient with our shots, but... Not really. They're still and I don't mean to disrespect Brighton. I'm doing this to try and pay tribute to what a great job Graham Potter's done.
Yeah.
And even though it did look touch and go relegation there, I think you always felt they had enough. Passes, okay, we've made almost 2,000 more passes, but again, just shows you they're more efficient. You know, they've had 40 more shots, only 5 less on target, with 2,000 less passes. They get to goal quicker, and that's one of the biggest problems with Arsenal, is that you look us in build-up and we look, it's like, I don't know where it's going to come from. We don't look quick enough, we don't look inventive. And Brighton have more of that. They look at the XG.
Try their luck a bit more. They've got more shots than us, less shots on target, but higher XG. It's because they give more of a goal than we do.
And look,
go on. Obviously, we're definitely massively underachieving. Would you say Brighton are underachieving this season as well then, with all them stats?
I would.
Yeah?
Yes, but in a more unlucky way, rather than a... With us, we're underachieving, and I think that's down to the players, the manager, the ownership, everything. I think with Brighton, I genuinely think it's just bad luck. And you know that kind of... you know that whole the league table doesn't lie? There have been a few seasons where you just see that one team in a certain position, you go, that's a bit false.
Yeah.
And I think Brighton are one of those sides. If they finish 16th, I think they've been a better side than Wolves. I think they've been a better side than Newcastle. I think they've been a better side than who else is down there?
Palace?
Yeah, I think they've been a better side than Palace.
Yeah,
I think they've been a better side than Southampton, especially the second half of the season.
Yeah.
So I do think sometimes the table lies, and I think this has been a bit unfair on them. If I'm honest. Yeah, I like Potter a lot.
I do as well.
Yeah,
you've got to give him credit for the job he's doing over there. He sticks to it.
Yeah,
he doesn't get swayed by the hustle and bustle of the Premier League. And some managers in the relegation scrap tend to go for that old school approach.
Yeah, the other day they were 2-0 down to City. Okay, City had 10 men for 80 minutes of the game, but they got the second and they looked comfortable, and they scored 3 goals and won 3-2. And I don't think Arsenal could ever do that.
No.
With this current group and with the current direction under Arteta, I don't think we'd ever have turned that around.
Yeah.
I really genuinely don't. And
that comes down to the confidence as well of the players and the mentality and the drive.
Yeah. I think they just have a good swing at it, and I respect it so much.
Definitely right. Well, now it's time for Danger Man. Danger Man. Basuma, people. Boys, come on. I mean, I don't really need to say too much. The stats don't really say too much. 1 goal in the league. We're not even looking at that. That's... I mean, you can actually, no, for a defensive midfielder, why not? I mean, Partey's been playing for a while and he hasn't got his goal yet, so fair enough, fair play to Basuma's got 1 goal in the league. I don't need to go through stats, we can go through the eye test. He's quality.
Yeah, I wanted him last summer.
Serious?
Yeah, I wanted him and Buendia last summer.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And the realisation is that I still want them now. And to be honest with you, considering we've been out of the top 6, top 7 for the last 2 years, I think that is the level we're going to have to go for now to creep back up into the top 6 bracket, top 4 bracket, and then go for the players that we all want to see at the club.
Yeah.
You know, the big names. But Basuma, I think it just makes sense. Him and Buendia are perfect to come in now.
Yeah, if he comes in, sorry, I want to aim this at you. If he comes in and Partey plays in the midfield a bit like Elneny's been doing recently, or Jack has been doing with Partey, who fulfills what role? Is it going to be a very flexible, when one goes, the other sits? Is it, or do you see Partey as the defensive midfielder? Do you see Partey as the box?
I see Basuma as the sweeper, let's say.
Do you?
He cleans up for Partey.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I think Partey, he does do that for us at the moment. I don't think that's his strength. And he can do it. I just don't think it's his strength. I think Basuma, he thrives off doing the clearing up, especially when we last played him and we won 1-0.
Yeah.
He was the standout. He was bossing that midfield. So, yeah, I think that. I also want Aouar as well. And I actually think Partey and Aouar could be his partner as well. in the summer. That's what I think as well. And I want a Emil Smith Rowe in the 10 going forward. So
yeah,
an interchange in midfield, but if you for your question, it'd be Partey, Basuma sitting for me.
Once upon a time, we could click our fingers and go, yeah, all right, Basuma, we'll get him.
Yeah.
But what we've had the last few years, and this is why I do understand the kind of the rage from Brighton and Villa fans when we're talking about Basuma, we're talking about Grealish, even Norwich fans with Buendia. Yeah. I understand why they are, because they're thinking, who do you think you are? The reality is that the weight of Arsenal Football Club in London, a lovely area of North London, still the kind of sponsorship deals you get, the weight of the club, all that, it still matters. I think you've got to, for a long, long time, not be achieving what you want to suddenly start losing any of that.
Yeah.
But if Arsenal are serious, I think they do have to change their direction a little bit. We've been trying to, Odegaard didn't work in Madrid, let's bring him in. I like Odegaard, by the way. We've been trying to pluck the best from Europe at times, hope that they're suddenly going to take us to the promised land. Liverpool had a very successful model looking into the Premier League and going, well, who's doing a great job and we can pick up and develop and take them on a level. You know what? There's nothing wrong with bringing in Basuma. What is he, 23, 24?
I think so.
Couple good years.
23 years. He's there asking for 40 million. Right. I think that's a fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough price tag.
And Bayern Munich come in for 60, 70. Well, we don't want that, but that's what a great club does. Yeah. They operate well. They bring in players at a price. They develop them. They raise their value, and either you're left with a better player or they move on. You pocket the cash. And Arsenal need to start being smarter, because Buendia is absolutely right. We need to be looking at these players. Yeah. Spurs brought in Wanyama from Southampton. Yeah. You know, they're out there. Van Dijk came from Southampton. So I really encourage Arsenal to be, and I don't want to upset Brighton fans, but I do encourage Arsenal to be looking at these kinds of signings. And I think Basuma will be quality.
There's one thing as well that sometimes goes over people's fans, so we say head as well, that remember we've got Matt Ryan as well, and players talk, they really do. So Basuma, if he's interested, he probably is interested about coming to Arsenal, he'll be speaking to Matt Ryan. How are you treated? What's it like there? Is this the right club for me to fit into? So that's another thing that I actually forget as well personally, but players love to talk. So how he's treated, they're going to get conversations from each other. So hopefully he joins us, but we will see. 40 million, I think, is a fair price.
And not to stretch this out too much longer, but a great point you kind of touched on there as well is again, I don't want to disrespect Brighton, watch them come and win at the Emirates now. This isn't like Villa and Grealish, where Grealish is probably an 80 to 90 million pound player. Villa have real aspirations to break into the top six at some point. They're throwing money at it. They've got some really good players. And I know a lot of that can be true of Brighton, but I think it's easy to go, you were just fighting relegation this year. Whereas with Grealish and Villa, it's, well, we might have got the top 8, top 7 if Grealish had stayed fit. Yeah. So I do think it's a slightly different proposition. Same with Buendia. Well, you've played 2 years of Championship, you played a year in the Premier League, come on, we're not where we want to be, but we can still offer you better. Yeah. I don't mean any disrespect when I say that. It's just kind of the raw fact.
The reality.
It is the reality of it. And Arsenal need to start flexing their muscles a little bit when it comes to this.
because we haven't flexed with the big boys. Let's at least flex with the smaller clubs. And that's not
sensibly
disrespect.
as well.
Like, we can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, the draw at Arsenal is not so much the quality of the side and the name at Arsenal right now. It's the London effect. Yeah. It's the money. Yeah. It's the size, it's the exposure.
It's wearing the Arsenal badge.
You play Football Manager.
Yeah.
Most people that when you ask the agent and you inquire about the player, the last sentence is they believe they'll be financially stable at your club.
Right, yeah, that's a good point.
Not they want to play for us because you're so amazing in football. It's always finances or, a better life and so on, and I get that.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is absolutely applicable to Arsenal in this situation. When people look back on their careers, because we need to remember, these players it's a career for them as well. Like, yes, they love the game and all that, but it's also a career for them. And when they do retire one day and they look at their CV, Arsenal will never look like a bad name to have on that CV. Yeah. It never will. No, then you want to go into the nitty gritty of what they achieved and what happened, then fine. But on the whole, if you speak to a Pierre-Emerick who wasn't there for Arsenal's best years, but that will be like the jewel in the crown. That was it. I represented my country and I played for Arsenal. Podolski as well, played for Germany, one of the great teams, but played for Arsenal, and that still exists. And we need Edu and Arteta to start showing that a little bit more. Partey's an example of that, by the way. Partey and Gabriel, who turned down PSG and Man United, they're still examples of Arsenal flexing, but let's hope we see it again this summer.
We have to.
Right, I took a look at Arteta's press conference, so I've got some quotes from that. I'm going to start with this one that's come up on your screen now. on how he sums up this season. Well, if you're saying it's a step back because we haven't won a title, then it has to be related. In the league, we have 2 more points than last season, but it's nowhere near where we want to be. The fact that we don't have a title so close to grab because we're not in Europa League final makes it difficult to see more positives.
I'm just going to leave this to
So yeah,
Turkish.
2 more points than last season, Turkish. That's a positive.
Taking the piss, man.
I mean, he's right though, isn't it? He is right.
I don't care about being 2 points. It doesn't make him right. It makes me sick, I'll be honest. This is what I mean about honesty, you know. Mikel, he articulates himself so well.
Yeah, he does.
He's spoken really well since arriving at the club,
Yeah.
really.
Be honest about the situation. You know, fuck the 2 points, Mikel. Like, that makes you look worse off by mentioning it. You know, be real. Say, listen, regardless of being 2 points better off, we have dropped off from last season. Because the reality is we won a trophy last season. We got into a competition that we haven't got into this season, Europa League.
Yep.
So you can talk about that 2 points, Mikel, but the way he's mentioned it here is like, it's a positive. Difficult to see more positives. There's none, Mikel. There's no positives, my guy. So I just don't get it.
Last season, we were out the relegation battle by January, but this season we were out of it by December.
And you know what's funny? The league quality is also down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So us being 2 points better off is not actually...
it's not positive, yeah.
It's not positive
it's
because the league itself, we should be 12 points better off.
Yeah, it's a really good point you make. Because where I like to focus on points is just to give a bit of perspective as to the momentum other teams have and why it's so hard to catch up. Now, the amazing thing is that Arsenal can finish this season not near the top 4, but actually look, you go, wow, for the season we've had, we're not miles away from it. And the best way I can sort of explain the situation is when Arsene Wenger the first and only time when it happened, he dropped out of the top 4, he finished 5th on 75 points. Man United this season can finish 2nd on 74. And I think that tells you that no one's consistent. Man City aren't going to hit the 97, 8s, 9s that they were before.
Yeah.
So actually, whether that's because the rest of the league has got better and more competitive, whether that's the lack of fans means more teams are going away, fancying themselves, picking up more points, that could all play a part. But 63 points last season got you 3rd. We can finish on 61 this season. Yeah. So it is interesting to look at. The context is there, but ultimately, the kind of the real test, they call it the litmus test, what tells you everything is looking at those around you. And if Arsenal had shown just a grain of consistency, just a slight bit of
resilience, confidence.
Resilience.
Yeah.
I don't want to say consistency again. Resilience. A bit of like mental something about you. We might be going into this final day saying, God, if everything went our way, maybe top 4's on. And we wouldn't deserve it. We wouldn't deserve it. But it just tells you how fragile the situation is, but also how bad we've been in comparison to everyone else. The door has been wide open, and we've not once looked like taking advantage of it.
Whereas others have, West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Burnley, you know.
Yeah.
I looked at one more quote from Arteta on whether the period in November has cost him. So if you guys remember back to from the 1st November we beat United on the 1st. From there onwards was shambolic. Went on a losing streak. So he said, yes, there's a lot of things from September to December that are contributing to that. I don't believe it was just one issue. There were a lot of things in that period. Now I want to just quickly talk about this briefly. There was COVID. Everyone had COVID, so it affects everyone in the league. There's that. I believe he's referring to the moles that were going around. The moles, he had to get rid of them.
Yeah.
The people he had to get rid of. The dead wood, there was a lot of talk about that. There was no creative problems within the club. So I think that's what he's talking about. That time has affected him and cost the season. However, going forward, and we're looking forward into the new year, we still dropped out of the Europa League. We still dropped out of the FA Cup, and there were still performances that were very questionable. So it's all well and good saying this, but it actually annoyed me because I just think it's been a terrible season throughout. Yes, you can blame that period was bad, but going forward on from there, it still wasn't great.
Well, he didn't do what he needed to do in the summer. He can talk about moles all he wants, but we saw a little camp in the football club before Arteta even came in. We saw Emery kind of fall victim to that camp too. So in the summer, it's not all on him, but he got made manager from head coach. So a lot more responsibility comes on him. Transfer list these players. Publicly transfer list these players, so us fans know you've actually done it. Instead, to the end of the season last year, you actually gave credit to Mustafi.
Yeah,
With Ozil, it was silence. With Kolasinac, there wasn't much heard. With Bellerin, he wanted to go. He came back and actually said, no, I want to stay. Transfer list players. Let the public know they're available. There's hardly any value in them. And I'm talking about even this summer, there's players, just transfer list them. It's not like you're going to protect their value because there's no value there. So for the season to start and that same camp is affecting you, Mikel, this is what we was telling you, mate. You know, come and be ruthless. We support you in being ruthless. Hence why with Guendouzi, I like Guendouzi, but I like the approach of Arteta. With Ozil, I like the approach of Arteta. Ruthlessness, we need that.
Do you think he was ruthless with the wrong players though? Because Saliba, I mean, might have been things we don't know, but he sent Saliba out back to...
Listen, with Saliba, and what highlights that... I haven't said it on this channel much, but I've said it on my channel numerous times at the start of the season. I said, at Arsenal Football Club, you're not going to get afforded the chance to make mistakes as you would at Leicester. And Fofana made a big mistake the other day against Chelsea. He gets away with it. Why? Because Leicester's fan base isn't as aggressive as Arsenal's. They haven't been played as much as Arsenal's.
It's not as desperate as well.
It's not as desperate, you know? So taking a teenager who's just lost his mother, who's just gone through a year of, you know, inconsistent football and injuries, taking him out of the firing line, I agree with that. Now, I don't know his reasons for doing it, and Saliba's talked up in January actually saying football would have taken my mind off things. And that's something I didn't see at the first half of the season, because he might be right. You play him, take his mind off things, and hopefully... But at Arsenal, what he doesn't understand, and this is Saliba, you come and make a mistake in those first 2, 3, 4 games, and it costs us, it's, you know, your mentality and character will then come into question, because you are going to receive a barrage of criticism, opinions, abuse, whatever. So I'm glad that he's taken this year out, because I look, what would Saliba do for us this year? Defensively hasn't been our major issue. It's been attacking that's been our issue. So I look at Saliba and I think, you know what, you managed to escape this season. You've come out of Nice with a positive, you know, 6 months. You've done well over there. Out of all the players moving into next season, he's one of the ones that comes in on maybe confident form.
I'm so glad you said that.
That's
I echo all that. I think Arteta deserves a lot of criticism for the way this year's gone, but when people talk about the man management of certain players, yeah, there's evidence that doesn't look good, but we don't know the full story. We don't know Arteta's side of things, and you know, we know that Guendouzi's spell hasn't gone swimmingly all the time, and I think maybe that just tells you a lot. There's previous there, so I want to reserve judgment on all those things. Back to the quote though, I do believe that November period did cost us. You just got to wonder how much of it was his fault. I'm not sure it was all his fault, but...
Well, again, I'll go back to the summer, as well as needing to get rid of a certain camp, we also needed creativity. Hence why Buendia was top of my list in the summer. And look, the transfer window closes and we had 2 weeks of the domestic. And I said in that domestic window, Benrahma or Buendia. We've still got an option here. We've got Partey. Partey is not an Aouar replacement. Let's get the creativity in. You didn't, it cost us. So telling me this, after another season of costing us because you haven't done what you should do in the summer, it's not on you, Mikel, completely, but the club made you manager and they've supported you through one of our worst seasons ever. A lot more of it is on you now than he would imagine.
Yeah, agreed with that completely. Well, we've got to pick our 11s and do our predictions. Should we fire them out?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah? I'm going to get up mine.
Let me get mine out first then.
Go on. Oh, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Go on, you go first.
Leno in goal. Are we in agreement there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going with full-back, Cedric right back and Tierney left back.
Hey, come on.
You agree there, yeah?
Same, yeah, go on, keep going.
Okay. Centre-back pairing, what do you guys think?
Gabriel.
Come on, man.
Come
Let's see it. Let's see it. Come on, man. Let's just see it, you know. Like, at the end of the day, we win this, we get Conference League, we don't want it. You know, so regardless of what happens in this game, I think let's just see what it's about, Gabriel and Mari.
I'm with you.
What's the worst that could happen? We lose 3-0 and don't make the Conference League. All right, well, cool. I can make do with that after the season.
I'd be devastated.
James
would be in a stadium like...
That Turkish said play these 2 left-footed centre-backs. Who does he think he is, Pep?
I just missed the whoa.
Yeah, don't even... I've managed to get that out of my head for once. But
you know, that was the song ringing around the stadium last time I was there.
Oh, is it?
Oh my God.
Maybe that's why I've got such a
sad times
affiliation with it.
Sad times. Partey and Nene would be my pivot again. Emil Smith-Rowe would be my 10. Pepe would be out on the right. Martinelli would be out on the left, and Balogun would be up top.
I thought you copied my team. Wow. No, I didn't. There's two different to mine, but apart from I agree with a lot of that. I'd be happy to see a lot of that.
Yeah,
I don't see why Balogun.
Even Kieran Tierney, I'd probably leave him out just to ensure he has chance at Scotland and Euros, and considering his injuries, I wouldn't want to. He deserves to go to that
What a
tournament.
good
play with
bloke you are.
Scotland. Nice sometimes, you know.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
That is
of
kind
you.
of you.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, couple changes for me. Holding comes in for Mary, so Holding and Gabriel. Xhaka comes in for El Neni.
Okay.
I did have Pepe, Smith Rowe and Saka, as you can see on screen here, but I'm actually going to bring in Martinelli.
Yeah.
I would actually make that change. Look, either or. I'll stick with Saka because that's what I went for, but yeah, I wouldn't mind Martinelli getting that start. And then I've gone for Aubameyang up front. Go on, let's secure that 7th place.
Yeah. Well.
Same, pretty much the same as yours. Same back line, same 2 in the pivot. Same 3, but you changed it, but it was the same 3. So Saka on the right, Emil Smith Rowe in the 10, and I've got Pepe in there.
You got Pepe?
I've got Pepe in there.
Oh my word.
Big up Pepe. Yeah, man.
You've never doubted him, to be fair.
Resilience.
You're a bad guy. No, obviously he's had a great end to his season, and I hope he continues form. He's a confidence player. I think it's very clear of that. So I believe we should just keep him in the squad, let him enjoy his football. And up top, Aubameyang.
Yeah.
Why not? I'd love to see a Balogun, but I'm so sure that Arteta's not letting kids play towards the end.
I'm worried about the Balogun situation again now because he's had ample opportunity to play Balogun. What I'm worried about is his bedding in period now next season. It's going to be something sold to us fans. Listen, Balogun's new, he's young, he hasn't been in the first team, he has to bed in.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that because it's like the club know things are to come and they preserve that. And instead of giving Balogun his time now to prepare him for next season,
more pressure on
we're
him.
going to have to be patient with his preparation next season. But you had chance now to do it. I don't know how good Balogun is. I actually think he's overhyped, if you want my honest opinion. Because I haven't seen much of him. I've seen some.
Yeah.
But to hold the club to ransom in a sense, in the media sense of terms this season, Balogun and Arsenal were in the news, you know, not signing, wants to go, Liverpool, etc.
Yeah.
I feel like he isn't that name to be able to do that. But now you've signed him, surely you should have played him. There's been games, Sheffield United, Fulham, Brighton, Palace. If you're not playing him in these games, dead robbers, you're going to ask us to be patient next year. I'm not having that. And that's not Balogun's fault. And it's going to be Balogun that faces that pressure next year. Because when Balogun plays next year, and if he doesn't hit the ground running, and they tell us to be patient, I'm going to go, well, you should have done it at the end of this season.
That's what annoys me.
I agree with
That's
that.
what annoys me with Arteta. Like, he made the decision to protect Saliba and send him on loan, give him his bedding in period and go back to be with his family. Then things like this, what you just said there makes so much sense. Because now
Preemptive thinking, I think.
when he comes in next season, I'm going to be criticising him, and I shouldn't have to do that because, like you said, yeah, exactly.
True.
Wow.
Let's go predictions anyway.
Yeah.
2-1 Arsenal.
What did I say on Forever Arsenal?
Can't
3-1.
remember.
I think I said 3-1.
Yeah. What did I say? 2-1.
I think so.
All right.
We'll stick with those. 3-1.
4-0 Arsenal.
4-0 Pepe
There's
hat-trick.
no, yeah. Oh.
I said, yeah.
Ooh. Pepe will get a goal. 4-0. I think there's no pressure on this game, and we have been thriving with no pressure. Absolutely loving life.
We have actually best spell of the season.
Best spell I've seen from Arsenal, all season. So no pressure. 4-0. Brighton have got no pressure to do anything. They're not getting relegated. They're not going up. They're not going into the Conference League. I mean, the players might be playing for the Conference League, but I very much think, as savage as it sounds, they're probably on the same mindset as us. They might not want that either. So they're going to enjoy their football. 4-0. I'd love to see it. Go on. And we're going to be there. Be nice to see that.
Come
I'm
on.
looking forward to that.
There we have it, people. This has been the warm-up for the game this Sunday. Premier League finisher against Brighton. 3-1, 2-1, 4-0. Pepe hat-trick with Monroe to get a last-minute fourth goal. Let's see what happens this Sunday. People, we're at. Love and peace.